Everybody to another episode of Influence Factory. I'm sitting here with Jackson Delisle. We are live on location at Social Media Strategy Summit in Chicago. What do you think so far?
I think it's amazing. We've heard from people such as Microsoft. We heard from our good friend Ryan Pena, who's actually going to be on here in a couple seconds. He's standing in our green room, so
he's agreed to sign on for one more season. Can you believe it? One more season. He's going to be with us.
We also have people such as Breanna Jacobs, who organizes.
Not the Breanna Jacobs.
Yes, from the one who organizes this whole thing, and she's going to be on with us in a few minutes as well. So,
and you guys saw her live on Social Media Strategy Summit, the virtual conference. So anyway, we want to make sure we bring her on. So let's get Ryan on.
Yeah, let's get Ryan on.
Ryan, without further ado, from Be the Match, the leader in lemons, Ryan Pena.
Everybody, hi.
Say hi. So remember, folks, you can ask questions. You guys are experienced. Ask questions in the questions area. Anything you want to know on social media and all kinds of stuff. So what do you think so far?
About the summit? Yeah. It's great. It's always great. I mean, this is just I love the opportunity to meet so many amazing people that are facing the same challenges, but also innovating in creative ways and learning about that innovation. I just love these events. I love coming here. Obviously, it's been great to have the opportunity to be up on stage and welcoming such amazing speakers like Susan from Walmart and just having them kick it off.
Microsoft dude, I thought he was good too.
I wasn't in that session. Oh, yeah. I wasn't in that because I was moderating a different track. So, but I saw the tweets about it. I mean, it's amazing. So. Yeah.
So what's interesting is I asked you earlier, like what social media platform, because there's been a lot of changes in social media with blocking and we've got Zuckerberg on Capitol Hill and all that stuff going on. So there's a lot of changes in platform, but you guys are using Sprinkler, right? And you still like that. Microsoft uses Sprinkler. So it seems to be like that seems to be everybody's go-to, at least as I'm surveying.
Yeah, it's there's so many tools out there, and there's a lot of good tools out there. And I think the interesting thing, to your point about all the changes that are happening with privacy and everything, which is, I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be all for the better. It's going to make the platforms better, less sketchy things happening. But the thing that we have to think about as marketers is when we think about a tool, we can't just look at what it does now and the shiny objects and the cool features and stuff. We also have to think about, how much investment are they making into this tool to maintain it? Because we'll have things like this, and we were talking about earlier about the potential inability to tag in some tools, all that stuff. If you have a tool that is a tried and true resource that has been around for a while, and they truly work directly with those social networks like Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and all of that, that when there's a big change that happens, they're going to be on top of it, versus a shiny new object tool that maybe most people don't know about or has only been around for a couple of years. The challenge with that is when there's a big change, like what we're seeing now, those tools are going to take a while to catch up. And so I'm not going to sell anybody on Sprinkler. It works for us. It's one of those kind of tools. There's others out there, but just really make sure you do your homework.
So can everybody just type in real quick what your favorite social media channel is? Like, what's your social media go-to channel of choice for your business? So another thing that I think is interesting, and, we have all the tracks here of everything that's getting covered, is there's a whole piece, and, you and I talk a lot about video, but video strategy, marketing best practices. And you went from a for-profit company to a non-for-profit company, and doing this sort of, whole Be the Match campaign. How's that transition been for you?
Yeah, well, first of all, I got to say, just looking around and seeing everyone eating, and I'm so hungry.
Well, and you can't wear jeans.
And I can't wear jeans. You can't wear jeans here.
That got more retweets than any other tweet. We're at the club. You cannot wear jeans at the Union League Club in Chicago.
Anyway, but no, seriously though, I'm trying to get all the energy to really talk about this, because I am super passionate about this topic. And yeah, I mean, I recently started several months ago working at Be the Match. They're doing life-saving work, literally life-saving work, and I get to be a part of it. So to kind of get to your question, I'll frame it up with a little bit about what the company does and why we're doing what we're doing, because that kind of helps make sense. But the organization's nonprofit. We work to save lives through cellular therapy. Outside of the scientific world, what that really means is patients that are battling blood cancers like leukemia or blood disorders like sickle cell, they sometimes during their journey, their last bit of hope to be cured is to get a marrow transplant. And so we have a registry of millions of people at Be The Match that have joined the registry by signing up online in 5 minutes, getting a kit in the mail, they swab their cheeks, they send it back to our lab, and then after processing, they're in the registry. And if they're matched one day, they get called to go through a non-invasive outpatient procedure to save someone's life. And so it's a very powerful thing. And so what we get to do as marketers and with the video content is, we used to do kind of the traditional thing years ago where we would be a news feed of like, this is who we are and what we do, us, 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 us. And now what we do, which works so much better, and what a lot of people are talking about here, is user-generated content. So user-generated is such a weird thing to think about, but for us, it's our patients. It's the people that are searching that have those stories. They supply us with cell phone video footage. They say, I want to share my story with the world. Can you help amplify that so we get more people to join the registry and hopefully save my life, but also other people that are searching? So we take their content that they give us, we overlay it with some text screens that kind of help the story get moved along, a call to action at the end. We make it very simple, but it's really more about their story, and that is obviously what pulls at the heartstrings of people. And obviously the searching patient feels like they're doing everything in their power to try to find their match, which is a crazy powerful thing to say, but I'm so honored to be a part of that.
Yeah, and what's interesting is you said the key word, I think, is story, because I think we're in a time where it's okay to tell your story online, and yet there's so many people that are afraid to do that. So when you're trying to get someone to tell their story, what do you tell them?
Yeah, a lot of times actually they come to us. Oh, so it's fortunate.
So in this case, it's easier.
Yeah, and it's we usually get an influx of people that want to share their story, and that's wonderful. But there are times where we're seeing maybe local media pick up a story, like in Michigan or something like that, and we actually learn of the searching patient for the first time through some traditional media and even social media. And when that happens, we do make outreach to them, and they're obviously familiar with Be The Match because they're working to get people to join the registry. But we, level set with them, see what's going on, how they're doing, and then it's not really an ask. It's more of how can we help amplify your story and get more people inspired by your story to join and help you out. And so, it's obviously the traditional methods then, if they want to work with us and share assets with us, videos, pictures that they've taken, then we have them sign a media release and we give them a pretty black and white picture of what we're going to do for them.
That's super cool. Super cool. And just real quick before, because I know the lunch is brewing over here, so you've got to get
anymore. This is
I know. Isn't this nice? You guys were able to get on the Today Show, right?
Yeah.
So
Good Morning America.
Or Good Morning America, yeah. And so, give me a snippet. How the heck did that happen?
So this is actually what my talk's about. It's literally the talk in a couple hours is how a tweet got us on Good Morning America, and it kind of is clickbait, but it's true. I mean, technically, a tweet did get us on Good Morning America, but it was just like anything. It was relationships that we had established before. Robin Roberts, unfortunately, she was a patient several years ago, but she was able to get a transplant from her sister, which is great. But she's very familiar with Be The Match. She's a huge supporter of us. So we've done work with her in the past of her helping raise awareness to the cause. But anyway, there's a searching patient, like we were talking about a minute ago, Chris, who is 21 years of age, and he has leukemia, and he needs a match. And he created this campaign around Lemons for Leukemia. And this is what I'm going to be talking about.
He created the campaign.
It was his idea. Him and his buddy Dylan created this idea. They're super smart, creative boys, and they have this bucket list. And one of their bucket list items, the things that they want to do in case he doesn't find a match, is to make lemonade out of lemons. This is terrible, news, and it could really lower someone's kind of motivation to do anything. But for him, he wants to raise awareness and get people to join for him, but also for other people. So he created Lemons for Leukemia. We supported it. We saw influencers on YouTube picking it up and doing the challenge, kind of like ALS Ice Bucket Challenge, but for a different cause. And it went basically viral. And so we did the challenge. We supported them. We basically challenged Good Morning America and Robin Roberts, and amongst other people. And within less than a week, she accepted.
Did you challenge her on social media?
Yeah, so we did a video of us doing the challenge. And on social media, on the video, we said we challenged Robin Roberts and the entire Good Morning America crew. Within hours, she tweeted back at us and said, I accept this. This is amazing. And then the next day, we're on national TV with our tweet saying, we got this tweet. We're all going to do it. Next week on the record-setting day, we're going to join forces with Chris, with Dylan, with Be The Match, and we're going to do this. And that's what happened a week later. We were on national TV. There was a trickle effect. A lot of wonderful success. Records were set. So amazing to see it all happen with social and marketing and all come together for great things.
Right. And Kate, who just checked in, I can totally relate. You know, they have a great nonprofit that helps children with hearing disabilities.
Okay.
So, you know, it's like, I think everybody's always wondering, well, do I have to come up with all this stuff? And it sounds like you took a great idea from somebody that was in your camp, you know,
Yeah,
I guess
right.
a fan,
Right.
however you want to look at it. And then you took their story and amplified it. Is that accurate?
That's exactly right. We obviously supported Lemons for Leukemia before the YouTube influencers really took over and kind of made it a bigger thing. There was definitely some organizations and podcast companies and other influencers that were doing great things with Lemons for Leukemia, but there was a pivot turning point on February 20th when Casey Neistat, who's a huge YouTuber, did the challenge. When we saw that, we knew we had to jump in and help raise even more awareness and support what was going on.
Well, listen, I'm going to let you go get something to eat,
Okay.
and you've been amazing as usual, so thank you.
Thank you.
Will you sign on for another season with us?
You know, it's not will I, it's like how much like let's just do this for the rest of our lives. It's just amazing.
Well, everybody loves you, so it's like awesome. So let's thank Ryan, give him a big social influencer, welcome, if you will, and then we're going to bring on our next guest.
Okay.
So thank you, man. Enjoy the food. So as we're transitioning here, these people never get to eat, and I'm stealing them during their lunch hour. Come on in. This is Breanna Jacobs. Without her, this conference would not be possible. So I just want to thank you again for bringing this to Chicago. There's a packed room here. Of course, if obviously you guys are on our Twitter account. So anyway, just what do you think about it so far?
I think it's going great. I mean, it's a room full of smart marketers, really good energy, lots of good questions during the sessions, a lot of really good case studies. So it's always inspiring to see this group come together and just share ideas and, discuss their challenges and just get real-time feedback from other marketers in the room and the speakers, of course.
And I tell you this all the time, but it's probably one of the only conferences where I've seen everybody openly share. So like it's almost like there's no secrets. And coming from an IT tech background, that's like never heard of, So it truly is a social conference where everybody's sharing. And I noticed this year you put together different tracks where you broke out sort of content creation and storytelling, which we were just talking to Ryan about, video strategy and evolving. So what I like about it is every time you have a conference, it sort of evolves with social. So how do you keep up with all that?
I mean, a lot of the, we hear feedback from our attendees at every event. So I'm really diligent. I'm sure you know that every time I'm on the stage, I'm like, please, give us feedback about, the sessions you're attending and, what you want to learn about. We always ask, what their biggest challenges are that they're facing. And so that is a huge part of shaping the way that I'm planning my programs and making sure that I'm bringing, relevant content. And it's just, keeping in touch with the community and the speakers that, the speaker community that I've built too. They're pretty good at being honest and candid with me about, what needs to be on the program and consulting with them about, what they're working on, what projects they're working on at their company. So that helps me a lot in, keeping my, your finger on the pulse. Is that?
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So, and you always learn stuff here as well. Mm-hmm. What are you hearing? Is there a theme that you're hearing this year over anything else or anything that's trending in your mind so far?
I think so far, just from the sessions today, it's a lot about just being real and letting consumers see that real side of you. Because Walmart this morning presented on, how they approach or their crisis communications strategy, and, their main tenets are, be honest, be real, and, cutting out the fake talk. When they're responding to someone on social, they're not going to say sorry for the inconvenience. Right. Micah Laney from Walmart was like, just cut that from, your responses on social. So just making sure that the way that you're responding online is is true to how you would have a real conversation. So it's a lot about, making those connections and letting your customers or users see the real side of your brand.
So instead of like the scripted call center type responses, so really having a conversation with the customer.
Yeah, no, totally. Yeah, so that's definitely a theme that I've seen sort of woven in from the few talks I've been able to attend today so far.
Super cool. Well, I'm going to let you get back to your lunch. So thank you so much. And we appreciate you for putting on this conference. And again, people are going, what's the conference? What's the conference? Social Media Strategy Summit. And it's here in Chicago just today and tomorrow. And then what's the next city?
We'll be in New York, October 10th to the 12th.
And then it comes back around. We're going to do another virtual conference, which I know everybody loves. And then we're back in San Francisco at the beginning of the year. So that's how it works. Thank you so much for what you do.
Yeah, thanks, guys. See you later.
All right. Take care. Oh, my gosh. And guess who we have here? You're not going to believe. We actually have Chris Rudolph in the house. How's it going?
Hey, it's great to be here. Thanks for having me, Dean.
And we just found out we have competing sessions. Oh, my gosh.
How do they do that?
I know they put us, well, because we fall into two different tracks. So, and what's funny is I'm featuring you guys in our session. So oddly enough, so hopefully you do the same for us.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, but so what are you learning so far?
Yeah, I'm over and over again, I'm seeing the theme of really making social personal and getting back to the roots of one-to-one interaction with so many ways that you can scale, social media and digital. I think we're really getting back to the roots of one-to-one relationships and making it personal, but using technology to scale that effect.
Right, and I've worked with you for years. Chris is with you guys. All of you guys have attended Business Accelerator, and so Chris runs that program for American Family. And so I'm guessing that you're going to pick things up from here and apply that, right?
Yeah, you bet. How can we make our program more personal and really highlight and make our members the hero of our story and not us?
And Breanna was just talking about a theme that she's picking up on is that be more real. Don't be this like scripted customer service thing. Brendan, you hearing this? Be more real on social media. So Brendan is in our social media department. So, but I think that's a note for all of us to think about. Well, it's not just about pushing content out there, but how can we create a conversation with that content? What do you think about that?
Exactly. I think we're inspired and we're engaged by stories and conversations. That's like the most primitive form of communication. And no matter, even though we're in a technological revolution, and things are happening so quickly, and we have so much computing power, even in like our cell phone. It really comes down to humans respond to stories, and we want to be included, and they want to participate in what we're doing.
Yeah, and I think it's interesting. When I was talking with Ryan Pena, we were talking about the fact that because we help people tell their stories, and then you offer people to tell their stories at Business Accelerator. And what's interesting is you also coach marketers on how to tell their story. So what do you do? What are some of the? And I think that's a cool thing. Do you have a name for that company that you do that with?
Yeah, so my company is called Freedom Business Family. So I work with digital marketing consultants who are out on their own, and how they can really not only grow their business, but do it in a way where they can still spend time with their family and do the things they enjoy. Kind of keep that reason of why they started their company in the first place. They really wanted the freedom.
Yeah, for sure. So with that, what do you tell marketers? Because I would think that would be one of the toughest ones to hone in or reel in. How do you tell them? How do you get them to tell their story?
Yeah, a lot of times they spend so much time and they're really good at telling other people's stories. So sometimes you just have to ask the right questions and help them focus in and take time out of their busy day and prioritize, actually doing their craft on their own business. And it's good. I think it's good to get others, like a third party, involved with that to be able to help you talk out and process doing that. And I think it can be really valuable talking to someone who is outside of that field, just because we all, within our niches, we use insider jargon and big words that the average person doesn't really understand. So it's good to have someone who is not, isn't in the day-to-day trenches as we are, kind of translating that and giving us feedback on what that story is. And I think that's just a refreshing way to do it.
Yeah, that's it's cool. It's interesting you say that. One of the things, and of course we do our influencer development program, and it's still funny that people don't necessarily get what that means. So, like you said, we get caught up in jargon, but I think what happens is in today's world, I think it was Microsoft that talked about this, that within seconds, hours, all of a sudden there can be an entire shift, like what happened with Snapchat. With who was the tweet or the post that went out on Snapchat that just Kylie Jenner, I think, that said I'm done with Snapchat, and they lost $1 billion in the market. I'm like, that was one post, you know. It's like oh my gosh. So and folks, don't be shy. You can ask questions, whatever social media questions you want. Now is the time to ask those. I'll get them answered here. But so what do you think about that? You know, we're in a world now where, you know, we come from a planned background, especially in marketing and campaigns, and it's almost like you can't plan as much as you used to, right?
Yeah, I don't think so. I think you can prepare, and I think that's what, you know, you do at Social Jack and like your influencer program is to really prepare people to like, you know, what is their story, and so that they know it and can speak to it even off the cuff, or you know, every, you know, piece of content down from their website to some of their social posts or their you know, speaking appearances or interactions at a networking event are consistent, and so that others can, you know, can really tell their story for them.
Right.
I think that's the value of you know, working with a company like yours.
I'd say the biggest shock I have in our industry is the fact that you know, we're webcasting right now. You know, we're webcasting, we're streaming. This is going to turn into our podcast. You know, this gets archived. It goes onto all of our channels. Some I don't even know. Spreaker and Stitcher and some of these other ones that I'm like, okay. So, and I was just on a 3-hour plane ride last night or whatever it was from California. And I'm like, okay, I'm downloading these podcasts. I can listen to them on my own time. And I sort of like this, but I'm surprised how audio only is still rising. You know, it's getting even bigger, you know? What do you think about this?
Yeah, I actually was talking about this exact same topic with a friend of mine, Adam Buchanan. And he was just talking, he's a consultant, and he's had stories recently. He just started a podcast not that long ago, but he made the comment of like, how many times do you have someone's undivided attention for 30, you know, 20, 30, 40 minutes at a time, and just the depth and the conversation that you can have with someone. So I've also remember being in a seminar probably 10 years ago about the power of auditory, of how if you hear a little jingle from a major brand, they maybe even haven't used that jingle in 20 years, but you can recall it right away. So there's power to the auditory you know, hearing of things.
Well, it's funny because one of our clients, Sonic Sphere, who we had Greg Allen on a few weeks ago, they focus on audio branding. And I go, what's that? And he goes, it's that sound that when somebody hears, you know, that sound, they know it's you. And at American Family, you guys have done a good job with taking popular sounds and adopting those, almost like influencer audio branding or something. I don't know what to call it, but it's like
the jingle.
Yeah, the jingle.
Yeah.
So you've got the da 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 da. You know, everybody knows that, and then but you also have the songs by famous artists that have been attached to your brand, like audio attachment or something.
Yeah, that's been a big part of the American Family Insurance brand, of bringing on brand ambassadors over the years, like Philip Phillips. And a song, you know, it evokes emotion, it evokes memories. A lot of times when we hear an old song, let's say of a time when we were growing up, like right away those memories come right to you. So I don't know all the science behind it, but I know it's powerful.
Oh, wow. Well, we've got a couple questions. You want to? Oh yeah, Lori's singing the jingle right now. So hold on. Let's see. I know she had a longer question in here. In terms of marketing, how much do you think certifications are important as far as resume building? So I'm guessing, Lori, that you're a marketer. So what do you think about that? So certifications.
I think if you're
hold on. I think a social selling certification is a must. I just had to.
Yeah, I think you have to. You know, it depends on your context. So if you're going for a job and that's like that's part of the gate that you have to get through, I think it's important. A lot of times you can get certifications that you don't really gain that much workable knowledge, but I would say if you're going to spend the time, find a certification that not only is credible and can get you through that gate into your next career move, but actually learn from it. And I found that over a course of a lot of different fields. Go to someone who is in the trenches, and they're not they don't have to have the perfect background or the have gone to like a Ivy League school, but the people that have used it and have the practical knowledge, I think that's where you learn the most.
Yeah, and it's interesting. I teach in grad school our Social Jack career advancement program, and one of the things I talk about is it's almost like what you said about us. We have productions that are really framed out, like at Business Accelerator. That is like a planned production, and I use that as an example of a professional webcast. But there's also ways to just create a framing, and I think you can do that with your career because things change so fast. You just don't know what's going to be hot and next, and just like with influencer development, we have a ton of people coming to us like, help, I'm a marketer, I'm getting asked to do this and I don't even know where to start. So I think, don't you believe that it's sort of like a dotted line too, where it's like, which one do I get? And I think you get whatever's going to serve you next, not now. That's my thought.
Yeah, I think there's so many people teaching different techniques and tools, and it can be overwhelming. But I think you want to look to a leader who you trust, and is where what you need at the particular time, but it has some experience, and go with their system. I once had a mentor say that don't just copy someone's tactics. You want to like buy and learn systems. So you want to work with somebody who has a system that you can really learn and adopt. And maybe that's not the only person you learn from your whole career, but really do a deep dive of that mentor or that teacher and learn their system and get to know them. And that's something that a system you can refine. Tactics you can use, but you don't really know if you can. If they don't have a system, you don't know if it's working. You don't know what to tweak and adapt. But really invest in systems.
Yeah, that's a good call. I like that. So, and Lori's also resonating here with sort of the storytelling part of it. But thanks, Shirley Miller. She said I'm a good mentor. Both my parents were teachers, so I'm sort of like have this thing where I'm constantly wanting to teach something. So whether you want to learn it or not, I'm going to teach it.
Yeah, actually, my mom was a career teacher, so
Oh, really? What grades?
She was elementary, so. Everything that you need to know, you learn in kindergarten. So.
Oh, and actually, there's an influencer in Chris's family, and she's got a cooking show. Can you tell us about that?
So my 8-year-old daughter Olivia has her own cooking show called Olivia's Creations. So she loves to cook and bake desserts.
How old?
She's 8 years old now. She's been doing this for a couple of years, and she is just a riot. So if you happen to check out Olivia's Creations on YouTube, you'll know what I mean.
Olivia's Creation.
Yeah, but it's been really fun to see her journey. She just loves to be on camera and share, and be funny. And my wife has some experience doing video editing, so she does that. But it's great.
Family business too.
It is.
Well, you're working for her, which is sort of cool. Yeah. Usually, I've got Jackson running around here, and he's working. He sort of works for us, but unless he's doing a production, he frames me into his productions. But it's sort of cool having that flexibility in today's world to bring all that together and to be able to do that.
Yeah, I think Jessica, who just heard her session of how Jessica Phillips pointed out that there's so much access today. Like anybody can be a publisher and a producer, and so like why not get started?
Well, and anybody can be an influencer, and all of you are influencers. So that's what we tell people, because you're influencers. We care about you and want you to continue to learn. So did you get lunch yet?
I did.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure that you were able to eat. So anything else that's resonating with you? Because video is still hot, right?
Oh, yeah.
Obviously, you and I do a lot of streaming and video and that sort of thing. Anything resonating there with what you're finding out more about video?
Yeah, I think, over and over again of how can you bring your audience with you, even behind the scenes, not just like on camera, which is very important. Let's say you're teaching or speaking at an event, but how can you bring them behind the scenes? So I've been challenged to do that. I don't think I necessarily think of that naturally, but how can you bring your audience behind the scenes? And because, we can, film from, one of these, and everyone has, most people have these in their pocket.
Right.
It's really easy to do. So that's been something I've been challenged with.
Yeah, and I think, what's interesting, one of the challenge I'm seeing is that there's, and I'm talking about this in my session next, is the fact that with social streaming, remember Periscope was like the first one on board. Do you ever go into Periscope anymore? No, I know. Neither do anybody online do a Periscope. I'm just trying to find people that are still doing it. But now there's they've got one on the crowd here. So we have YouTube streaming now. Have you tried that?
I have not. I'm not. Tell me a little bit about yours.
Yeah, so we're going to do that in our next session. So Jackson's hot on YouTube because obviously he manages our channel. But it's literally, there used to be this restriction where you needed 1,000 followers. You needed to have a certified account. And now, literally, as long as you're an authorized, legitimate, they'll tie it to your phone. But you can go around and, do these type of things where you have these, this is a fancy getup for what we use for social streaming. But it's like you can easily, like, I think that was, I want to say it was under $100. But it has a light, it has a fuzzy camera thing, and next thing a windshield on there, and then next thing you know, you can go right to YouTube. Make sure your phone is sort of authorized. They just want to make sure you're legit, so they can tie it back to a phone, and you can start broadcasting on YouTube. So I think you're going to see a lot more people because of that. Because Facebook is more about around that particular entity, but YouTube is more about showing you constant live shows all the time. And now they're going to they've already started competing with YouTube television and those types of things. So I think you're going to see people producing, not just like doing more video, but producing shows. What do you think about that?
Yeah, so I think of Gary Vee talks about you should be a company that happens to sell. You kind of fill in the blank, and I think that's a way with the growth of YouTube and Facebook Live that's reality. You to really be effective and engage with your audience and build strong relationships. You're a media company, so why not use video and create your own show?
Right on. All right, Chris. Well, listen, it's been a delight as always. We're going to make sure we're in your session, so we'll be tweeting live from his session at 1 o'clock, from my session at 1 o'clock. What's your session on?
On the Content Accelerator Blueprint. So how can you create content quicker and more engaging, even if it doesn't come natural to you? So I'm going to be sharing that.
Okay, so we'll make sure we tweet that out so you guys learn as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks. Always a pleasure. All right. All right, I think we have some special guests coming up next. Who's next? Uh-oh, he's going to do it. He's going to do it. He's going to do it. All right, so those of you on higher ed, come on, sit down and don't be shy. Okay, so we have Joe Allegra, right?
Yes.
Yep, from Temple University. But what's interesting is when I went to over by your booth, it didn't say Temple. What did it say?
It said the Fox School of Business.
I know the Fox School of Business. So how does that differentiate from what we know as Temple?
Sure. So Temple University is the larger school. Within Temple University, there's a lot.
It's one of the best schools, right?
Of course it is. Of course it is. One of the largest business schools in the United States. The way that the Fox Business School is there, it's named after Dick Fox, and in addition to that, there's a bunch of different schools that are associated. The business school, the College of Education, engineering. So the Fox School of Business is where the MIS department is housed out of, along with the finance, marketing, accounting, and this digital innovation and marketing degree where Amy and I are here talking about.
Nice. And and I understand you guys actually use influencers as part of your marketing, right?
We certainly do. We run a monthly webinar series in which we bring in executives and leaders in their own space to talk about a certain topic that's hot in the market. Some of our upcoming webinars that we're running is a webinar on Bitcoin, and then another topic that we're moving into is the transitioning of digital versus online and how marketing trends are established.
Yeah, and I was just talking with our last couple of guests, and the gentleman from Microsoft said how things can change in this area of business, the digital area of business. It can change literally in seconds and minutes, and there's a whole dynamic shift. How have you, as a school, sometimes that's tough to keep up with that because curriculum is curriculum, and it takes a while to run it, it takes a while to teach it, and now all of a sudden you have to pivot. How do you guys deal with it?
So we're always constantly changing our curriculum. We need to be
You're
at
my new favorite
we-
university.
we need to be at the forefront.
Sorry, DePaul.
We are at the forefront of trying to be and stay ahead of the curve.
Right.
So what we have done in the past is, we've curriculum standards that we follow, but if we notice that there's changes that are coming down the pike, we will act quick and make the modifications within the classroom to adapt to that. So, for instance, we had when we first started the digital innovation and marketing program. Part of the curriculum was a course on mobile marketing. Nowadays, everybody's on mobile marketing.
Right, I know. What does that mean now?
So what exactly does that mean? So it just becomes a little bit of the norm. So that's why we have to change with the times, and obviously change to keep up with the Joneses.
Wow. So then, if you're staying on this fringe with the rest of us, what are you learning and what are you seeing that's happening next?
So what we find is that one of the hot areas nowadays, obviously, is digital marketing. Business intelligence is extremely hot. Data analytics is another sort of area where, I mean, there's millions and millions of records of data. Being able to visualize those graphics and sort of make sense of millions and millions of records is ultimately key. So we're always kind of looking to the future.
Yeah, and it's interesting. Somebody else said, everybody's chiming in on the tech world always changing, and they believe that we're related. Oh, so look at that. They said, yeah. So that a few comments being made in there about that. So no, we're not related. I just like what they're doing, so I wanted to feature them because I think the Fox thing is pretty cool, and what you're doing is pretty cool. So in terms of being more accessible, being more real. So that seems to be a theme that's coming up too, about not being as scripted, not being as planned out, but being a little more authentic and real and in the moment. What's your thought on that?
Real and in the moment. So when we established this curriculum just about 4 years ago, we had a vision that digital marketing and the people that are in this space, it was at a need, because we determined that there's a lot of people that have done traditional marketing, and then there's also a lot of people that have done the IT side. But there was no other program that was able to combine both the technology and the marketing into one area. And that's kind of the development of the digital innovation and marketing program. What's also unique about this program, it caters to individuals that are working professionals. And the working professionals, busy working professionals. So the time commitment for the program that we have is only about 4 hours a week. And it's taught by industry experts who are CIOs and social media strategists and bloggers. And they have day jobs. So when they practice what they preach. So we bring a lot of real world experience into the curriculum, and we don't use textbooks. It's very focused in on the experience from our practitioners and our adjuncts that help us out in this program.
Well, that's great. Well, listen, I love having you on. So if people want to check out what you're doing with the webinars in the school, how do they find you? So
the webinars that we run are on a monthly basis, and you can follow us at the at TU Fox MIS. Our program is Digital Innovation and Marketing, and the web link is fox.temple.edu /MSDIM.
Beautiful. We always say ABL, always be learning. So that's our thing. So as part of our academy. So again, we'd love to maybe have you guys on as a guest on our program again. And we loved what you had to say, and we love what you're doing. So keep changing the world, man.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you. All right, folks. Well, you heard it, man. There's a Progressive University just sort of on the next level and really taking the world to the next, everybody to the next place where they want to go. And I think this is an important message for all of us to understand exactly how important it is to continue to learn. Yeah, I like that. Lori says ABL makes you able. Can you write that down, Brendan? We'll give that. Yeah, Lori Shaloyle is on top of that. So I just want you to understand that we're here to bring you the news. So if you guys want to hashtag Influence Factory, and then also at Get Social Jack. If you monitor, we're going to be tweeting out nuggets from all of these, and hopefully you can pick up on some of that. But if you want us to ask a question, tweet that to us. And while we're here, we'll go up to Microsoft, we'll go up to LinkedIn, we'll go up to whoever you want, and we'll ask them the question. Okay? So anyway, just want to thank everybody for being on today. We're going to cut it a little short so that we can grab some food ourselves. My session is literally in 20 minutes. But as always, we appreciate each and every one of you. And we'll be back in the studio next Wednesday. Right, Jackson?
Yes, we will see you guys next Wednesday. Thank you for joining us here live at the summit. And we'll see you next week.
Yeah, so we have McDonald's coming up and a few other folks. So, all right, everybody, we'll see you on Twitter. Stay tuned and ask your questions on Twitter for Social Media Strategy Summit and get the word out. Thanks, everybody, and we'll see you on the next program. Take care.